talk for a long time, but the basic idea is that the physical world that many people think that's just what nature is. We don't think that way. We think that what nature actually is, we have not the slightest clue of. We don't know it. And the physical world and also the mental world, the world of the subject, these two are not really something which is existing out there. It's something. These are perspectives or aspects or manifestations of a real nature that we don't know.
At all?
We can know glimpses.
Can we have access to this nature?
Maybe, but not with physics.
Like through enlightenment?
Yes, exactly. Essentially, I mean, ultimately through enlightenment, I think. That's right.
Okay.
And this what I call the real nature. That's neither physical nor mental. It's something different. It's neutral with respect to that distinction. So that's what we call dual aspect. Dual aspect is mental and physical. Dual aspect monism. Because there's one world underlying the two aspects.
And so you see the main worldview as a monistic, right?
It's
and
monistic
it's too.
It's monistic and dualistic at the same time. That's another great thing with it, because you have a monistic ground. It's only one world, and you can see it through two different perspectives, glasses if you want.
Right, but these two perspectives is secondary.
Yes.
The first
right.
in the basis is
and the basis
one.
is it's monist. It's a monistic. Right. It's a monistic framework, but it's not physicalist monistic, and it's also not idealistic in the sense of for instance, German idealism.
What's the nature of that?
It's psychophysically neutral.
Neutral.
It's neither physical nor mental. It's hard to think about it.
Okay, how do you know about that?
It's an assumption.
Assumption.
Yes. In philosophy, I mean, whatever framework you're talking about, you're making assumptions, and the plausibility of the assumption has to do with the price that you have to pay for the picture that you get.
I understand.
You always have to pay a price.
Yeah.
Something always remains unexplained, and the question is what you get for the price that you paid.
Okay, where is subject in this picture?
It's in the mental.
In the mental.
In the mental.
So it's what's one of the dual parts.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Exactly.
A
Yes.
subject.
Yes. And in the ultimately basic one world, the psychophysically neutral, of course also the subject-object distinction disappears. It's not there. There's no subject, but there's also no object.
Yeah, I understand.
Right.
Subject, object, something. Yeah.
It breaks down. The distinction breaks down.
Yeah. We was thinking in such a way, very close once.
Spinoza is one of the philosophers who had such a view. I mean, very close to such a view.
No, it's close to pantheistic monism, right?
It's close to, sometimes Spinoza is called a pantheist.
Yeah,
there is a recent discussion between pantheism and panentheism.
I don't know the second word.
I mean, pantheism would be God is identical with nature. Actually, when we look for God, we should look for nature. And the panentheist says this is true, but this does not exhaust the role of God. God is even something. It is all what is there in nature, but it's even more. So there is something which belongs to the divine, which is most of it is nature, but there's something even in addition to nature. That's panentheism.
And you? What is your worldview is closer to which?
I'm oscillating. Depending on the question that you ask, sometimes this and sometimes that. What I'm definitely not is a theist, where God has nothing to do with nature at all. It's just the creator, and then he does the creation, and then he has no influence at all on it. This is not my viewpoint. That's what theism is.
And how this point of view influence on physics?
And physics can stay as it is.
I mean, did you, from this framework of thinking, did you go into the physical problems and try to resolve it?
No, I think physics can. Physics, in the sense it has been developed, it doesn't need something like this framework. You need this framework when you want to address issues like the mind-body problem.
But we began with the physics found the observer, and also several physical problems depend on a worldview, so they could not be resolved in
That's
all
true.
worldview.
This is true. We have. I mean, within physics, we also have different philosophical positions. But these philosophical, the questions that are related to these positions are still questions where the subject and where meaning are rejected somehow. They are out of the picture. Of course, we have, for instance, we have a lot of different approaches how to understand quantum mechanics. There's many world. There's, I don't know what. If you look into Wikipedia, you see all these 25 different interpretations. But most of them don't talk about the subject at all. It's just problems internal to physics, as it was understood always.
So you are not applying this framework to the physics yet?
No, but the only thing that we want is that this framework should be, at the end of the day, it should be expressed in such a way that the results, which we know from physics, have to remain the same. In that sense, it gives us a kind of constraint, if you want. And that's important because we know that physics is okay so far.
So you don't want to get up in a world with different construction and not based on transistors?
I don't think we need to reform physics. I think we need to think differently on a much broader basis. That's what I think.
Yes, clear. Thank you.